Well, good morning, Northern Michigan. I'm outside our studios right now with Ed Muha, and this is probably the coolest car I've ever seen. Good morning, Ed. Tell us about your car. This is a 1964 blue Mustang.
Yeah, it was one of the first convertibles made by Ford Motor Company. Like I told you, I have no documentation on it other than the VIN number.
Okay.
The VIN number is proof that it was probably one of the first 80 cars made. But I have no documentation. I have no proof of it. But there's certain things on it that I had the car for about 10 years before I realized that it was a classic.
You had quite a piece of, on your hands.
Yeah, they would call me up and say, does it have a generator or an alternator? I don't know. I had to run outside and generator. Okay, it's one of the first ones made, But
And it just had a birthday.
It was 50-year-old last week.
Wow. This car looks awesome. You would not believe it was 50 years old.
It was made on the production line. Now, Ford Motor Company found out about it up here. How they did, I don't know. But they came up here and checked it out, and they told us what it was. But they didn't give me any proof.
They still didn't give you anything.
But they wanted me to donate it to the museum, I guess, Greenfield Village. They wanted me to donate it. And, of course, my grandkids, no, Pap, don't get rid of that car.
They don't ever want you to get rid of it, right?
Nobody wants me to get rid of it.
And actually, this is your wife, Betty, here this morning. Betty, yeah. And Betty, how did you feel when Ed came home with this car so long ago?
I was not very happy. I said, what are we going to do in northern Michigan with a convertible?
But it served you really well, and you really like having this car.
Well, it was a beauty, and it still is. Thank you to Mike Kateria. He's my nephew. He keeps it up. He cleans it and polishes it. When I dent it or hurt it, he fixes it up for us. And there was a mechanic, Dave Dresnick, I think was his name, that kept everything running good. Okay. But other than that, the car is the car,
And how often are you driving it now, since it's an old car and you're trying to keep it as in classic shape? So how often do you really drive it around?
Last year I went to get the oil. Every year I get the oil change. And the kid that was changing the oil, he said, Mister, your speedometer's broke. And I said, it is? He said, yeah, you only put 112 miles on since last year. I said, no, that's all I put on it in a year. So we're treating it fragile,
And it sounds like you have quite a line of grandkids kind of holding out that they'll be the ones to get to inherit the car.
But it's not only grandkids, it's the granddaughters. We call it the honey car.
Why do you call it that? The honey car.
Yes. My grandsons, when they were that age, they used to sit over there, and they had to put pillows on the seats so they could look up. And we'd drive through town and stopping at the red lights and waving. And it's always the girls that come up and say, nice car, mister, And one of the grandsons says, Pap, we're going to call this the honey car.
Yeah, the honey car.
And it's still the honey car.
And so one last question for you, Ed. In northern Michigan, do you drive with the top down?
3 days a year.
Well, like fine wine, your car has aged magnificently. It looks great, and it's a great car. Thank you for letting us have it here this morning.
Well, you're welcome. Glad that you're interested in it,
All right, for a look at that bus stop forecast this morning, let's send things over to meteorologist Joe Charlevoix.
All right, thanks a lot, Holly. Nice ride out there.